Welcome to Bite Size Rando. My name is DDR Kirby. Today we're going to talk all about the Turtle Rock Dark Maze and how to navigate it with or without lamp. Right, so first of all, I have a save state where I have disabled kind of the darkness in the room so you can get a feel for the layout of the maze. Unless you're doing something crazy like Door Rando or something, there's always going to be one optimal path through this maze. It's always going to be the same. And it's going to start by going down, right, down, and right to this middle platform with the pot and the switch. Now, one cool part about this initial half, the first half of the traversal, is as soon as you step onto the Samaria platform, you just hold diagonally down and to the right. You'll make all the required turns and end up in the middle platform. And in fact, you can keep on holding down to the right, and you won't fall off or anything. You'll just get trapped in this corner. So that can be really useful because you don't have to remember anything, and it can really come in handy if you're doing this completely in the dark. Now, after hitting the switch, for the second half of the route, you're basically going to go around clockwise around this platform. So you're going to need to make two right turns, one here and one here, and then you're going to need to turn downwards here. Okay? So as soon as I step onto the platform, I'm going to hold right. There's one right turn, there's another right turn, and now I hold down, there's a downwards turn, and from then on, I can just hold left. I'm going to hold left for the rest of the route until I reach the exit, and then I'm going to let go. Now, it's important that you let go here because if you hold left here, you're going to walk off the platform and fall down, and that's not good. So instead, you're going to press downward and just exit the room. Okay? Now, there's a bunch of other things I want to cover about this route and this room before I talk about doing it in the dark. First thing I want to talk about is these fire bars. So these fire bars will hit you, and it's optimal if you have enough hearts to just tank the damage. They do 1 heart each. If you are worried about your health, you can use the hookshot to get some iframes to pass through them. Just like that. So while you're using a hookshot, you are invincible. You will not take damage. If you're doing this, you want to think carefully about which direction you launch your hookshot, because if you hit a wall, you're going to have a shorter hookshot duration, right? So ideally you want to launch your hookshot into thin air. That will give you the longest duration for hookshot to hopefully avoid damage. Now, it's also possible for you to use invincibility items such as the Key and Verna or the Magic Cape. Generally, that is not recommended because those invincibility items will probably serve you better in the next room, where there's the laser bridge that you might have to do laser bridge skip. But that is an option if you're very low on health. There is also this platform here on the right side of the screen where there is a full magic and 2 hearts for you. So this is kind of a rest stop area. It's, of course, if you don't need these resources, you shouldn't stop here, but if you do, or maybe you need some magic refill because you are not confident in your laser skip techniques, this can be a good chance to refill on magic and get 2 additional hearts, and then continue on your way. One final thing I want to cover is if you ever get hopelessly lost in this maze, what you can do is you can let go of all directions on the D-pad. And what will happen is one of 2 things. You'll either end up at one of the exits here, and or in which case you can just get back on, or more than likely, what will happen is you will end up in this particular square here, this little loop. And it might take a while, but eventually, all paths in this maze will converge and send you to this loop here. And from this loop, what you can do is you can wait until you're in the upper right corner or upper left corner, press left, and then you'll end up at the exit of the room. And if this door is already open because you have hit the switch, then you can just walk out. If not, you can go to the right side of this platform, throw yourself off, and that will make you respawn at the beginning of the room, where you can hopefully try again and get it right this time. Okay? Now, let's talk about how to execute this room in the dark with no lamp. The first thing we need to talk about is how do we lay this initial Samaria platform? Because if you walk down too far, you're just going to fall off, and that's not good. So you kind of need to figure out where to lay this Samaria platform. The way I like to do this is I like to use the only visual cue that exists, which is this rotating fire bar in the bottom of the screen. Now, for this strat, it's important that you do not cancel stair lag. And so usually when people walk into this room, they will hold left or right for a frame or 2 to cancel the stair lag. So normally when you come out of these stairs, you just press downwards, there's sort of like a little bit of a lag or a little bit of like a slip and slide effect that will slow down your movement. And you can cancel that by pressing left for a frame, for example, and that will help you move a little bit faster. But if I'm doing this in the dark, I don't like to do that because that depends, that will be faster or slower depending on your execution. So instead, I will just hold downwards coming out of the room, and I will wait until the fire bar is kind of at a maybe like 35 or 40 degree angle, and that's when I'll press Y to lay the Somaria platform, and that will be the right timing to lay it without falling off this initial cliff here. So doing that in the dark, wait for the Somaria to be about 45 degrees, and that is when I press Y to lay the platform. Okay, and that will work as a timing cue. Now you can get onto the platform and then hold down and to the right, like we said earlier, and that will get you to the middle platform, where there is the pot. You can lift that and hit the switch. Now for this next part, you'll just need to remember that there's 2 right turns, 1 down turn, and then hold left the rest of the way. You'll kind of have to just gauge based on the fire bars which direction you're moving. So I'm going to hold right, there's 1 right turn, there's another right turn, hold down, there's the downwards turn, and hold left, and keep holding left for the rest of the journey, and I'll wait until this fire bar up here is on kind of the right half of the screen and going upwards vertically off screen. That's when I need to let go of left, and then I can press downwards to exit the room. Now, if you're having trouble with that second part, one thing you can do is if you have a sword, you can hold it out on this platform, because one thing that's hard about this is there's kind of no visual reference as to which direction you're going because the camera is always centered on you. So you can hold your sword out as a better indicator of which direction that you're moving. But you see there that when you get hit by a fire bar, it does cause you to drop your sword. So if you're going to do this, you're going to have to re-slash your sword every time you get hit. But that can help you get a better visual for which direction you're moving in if you're having trouble. Okay? That mostly covers it. There's only one last thing to cover, and that is, what if I want to stop by in this rest stop and I am in the dark with no lamp? Well, there is a way to do it, and I have a visual cue for you. It's going to be a little bit tricky, but what you're going to do is you're going to basically look at this upper right-hand fire bar, and you're going to wait to step onto this platform when this upper right fire bar is pointing at one of the cardinal directions, so either down, left, up, or right. Let's say I pick downwards, so I'm going to step onto this platform when the fire bar is pointing downwards. There we go. Now what's going to happen is the fire bar, you're going to go along this traversal, and you're going to wait until the fire bar rotates 1 complete cycle, so 360 degrees, plus another 90 degrees. So it's going to be pointing to the left. And when it's pointing straight to the left, that is when I'm going to press right on the D-pad to exit at the rest stop. I'm going to wait until it turns left and press it now, and that will be the correct timing to get to the rest stop. So let's try that in the dark. I'm going to wait until it points downwards. Right, hold right for the 2 right turns, hold downwards, and then wait for this to turn left, and that is when I press right to get to the rest stop. Pick up the goodies, and once I get back onto the platform, I need to hold downwards to make the initial turn, and then I can hold left for the rest of the journey until I need to exit. Okay? And this will work even if I pick a different direction. So let's say I happen to say, let's step onto the platform when the fire bar is pointing to the right. Okay, so now I'll need to press to the right when the fire bar is pointing downwards. See how that lined up? And so that you can use that timing as a visual reference. So let's do the whole thing in the dark once again, just to make sure we have it. So again, we're going to make sure we lay the block when the Somaria is, when the fire bar is pointing about 40 degree angle. Step onto the platform, hold down and right. Let's say we want to stop by at the rest stop this time. So we're going to step onto it when the fire bar is pointing downward, which means we're going to wait until it turns left to step off into the rest stop. Okay, step back onwards, turn down, and then hold left the rest of the way. Wait until this fire bar is on the right half of the screen and transitioning upwards, and then hold down to exit the room. Alright, so hopefully that all works, and that helps, especially if you have to do this room in the dark with no lamp. If you have any questions, feel free to post it, but otherwise, try this out in your next run, and hopefully it helps.